Have you ever wondered how a single promise can ripple through generations, shaping the destiny of nations? Stick around as we unravel the epic story of the 12 tribes of Israel, a tale of faith, betrayal, and redemption that's as gripping as any blockbuster. Trust me, you don't want to miss how it all ties into a promise that's still echoing today. The story begins with God's covenant with Abraham. An aged man gazes at the stars, hearing God's voice promising him countless descendants. Despite his and Sarah's advanced age, they cling to hope. This promise marks the beginning of the lineage that will form the 12 tribes of Israel, linking the story to divine faithfulness and human perseverance. God fulfills his promise through Isaac's birth, defying natural laws. Sarah, once barren, cradles her newborn with tears of joy. Abraham, overjoyed, praises God. This moment cements the covenant, introducing Isaac as the link to the future tribes. The event is a testament to divine power and the fulfillment of promises. Jacob and Esau's tumultuous relationship begins in their mother Rebekah's womb, foretold by God. As the twins grow, their contrasting destinies and personalities emerge. Esau is rugged and impulsive, while Jacob is contemplative and cunning. Their rivalry sets the stage for Jacob's rise as the inheritor of the covenant. Jacob, fleeing Esau's wrath, dreams of a ladder stretching to heaven. Angels ascend and descend as God reaffirms the covenant. This marks Jacob's spiritual awakening, sealing his role as the future patriarch of the tribes. After years of exile, Jacob is on his way to reunite with Esau. Fearful of his brother's wrath, he sends gifts ahead to appease him. That night, alone by the Jabbok River, Jacob wrestles with a mysterious being. The struggle lasts till dawn, neither conceding. As daylight breaks, the figure reveals divine power, dislocating Jacob's hip with a touch. Jacob refuses to let go unless blessed. The being blesses him, renaming him Israel, meaning he who struggles with God. This profound encounter cements Jacob's role as the father of the 12 tribes. Limping yet transformed, he approaches Esau with renewed confidence. This segment captures themes of struggle, redemption, and divine favor that resonate throughout Israel's history. Jacob, now Israel, fathers 12 sons through Leah, Rachel, and their handmaidens. Each son is distinct, carrying unique traits that symbolize the tribe's destinies. From Reuben's strength to Judah's leadership, their lives foreshadow their descendants' roles in Israel's history. In a poignant scene, Jacob gathers his sons and delivers blessings, many of which are prophetic. These blessings, recorded in Genesis 49, outline the future strengths and failings of each tribe. This moment serves as the foundation of Israel's identity as a nation formed from a tapestry of diverse yet interconnected lineages. The brothers' interactions, fraught with rivalry and reconciliation, reflect the complexities of human relationships under divine providence. Joseph, Jacob's favored son, shares his dreams of dominance, where his brothers bow to him. This ignites jealousy among his siblings. Their animosity culminates in betrayal. They sell him into slavery and deceive Jacob into believing he's dead. Joseph's journey, from despair to prominence in Egypt, is marked by resilience and faith. Despite his hardships, he rises to power, becoming Pharaoh's trusted advisor. His reunion with his brothers years later is one of forgiveness and reconciliation, showcasing divine providence. Joseph's life exemplifies how God can use adversity to fulfill his promises. Centuries after Joseph, the Israelites multiply and thrive in Egypt, provoking Pharaoh's fear. Enslaved, they cry out to God. Through Moses, God delivers them in a series of miraculous events, culminating in the Red Sea's parting. This defining moment transforms the tribes into a unified nation. Their exodus marks the fulfillment of God's promises and his role as their protector and leader. Yet, their journey is fraught with disobedience and testing, highlighting human frailty against divine faithfulness. At Mount Sinai, the Israelites receive the law, cementing their covenant with God. The tribes tremble as Moses ascends the mountain, shrouded in fire and smoke. The Ten Commandments become the cornerstone of their identity. However, their faith falters with the golden calf incident, showing the tension between divine expectations and human weakness. This segment captures a pivotal moment of Israel's spiritual and legal foundation. After the wilderness years, the tribes settle in Canaan. Under Joshua's leadership, the land is divided, fulfilling God's promise to Abraham. Each tribe receives a distinct portion, symbolizing unity and diversity. This division sets the stage for Israel's future, where their collective faith and individuality will be tested. The period of the Judges is a turbulent time for the tribes of Israel. After settling in the Promised Land, the tribes frequently fall into cycles of rebellion against God, leading to oppression by surrounding nations. Judges like Deborah, Gideon, and Samson rise as divinely appointed leaders to deliver the people during crises. Each story reflects the strength and failings of the tribes. Deborah, a prophetess and judge, inspires the tribes to unite against the Canaanites, demonstrating the power of faith. Gideon, from the tribe of Manasseh, hesitates at first but leads a small army to a miraculous victory against the Midianites. Samson, a flawed but powerful judge from Dan, fights the Philistines but is undone by his personal weaknesses. This era highlights Israel's struggles to remain faithful to God's covenant amidst external threats and internal divisions. The Judges era is marked by both the heroism of leaders and the repeated failures of the tribes to maintain unity and obedience, setting the stage for the eventual call for a king. The tribes grow weary of the instability of the Judges era and demand a king to unify them. Saul, from the tribe of Benjamin, becomes the first king but fails to fully obey God. David, from the tribe of Judah, follows and establishes Jerusalem as the political and spiritual center. His reign brings unprecedented unity and prosperity, fulfilling God's promise that leadership would come from Judah. Solomon, David's son, builds the magnificent temple in Jerusalem, solidifying the city's role as the heart of Israel's worship. However, Solomon's reign is marked by increasing division among the tribes, as heavy taxation and forced labor fueled discontent. The monarchy represents the height of Israel's unity, but also sows the seeds of division that will fracture the kingdom. After Solomon's death, the kingdom fractures into the northern kingdom of Israel, 10 tribes, and the southern kingdom of Judah, 2 tribes. Rehoboam, Solomon's son, inherits Judah but fails to unite the people. Jeroboam leads the northern tribes into rebellion, establishing a separate kingdom with alternative worship centers. This division marks a turning point, as the tribes grow increasingly estranged. Prophets warned both kingdoms of the consequences of their idolatry and disobedience, but their messages often go unheeded. The northern tribes, led astray by false worship, begin their decline. The division reflects the fragility of human leadership and the consequences of turning away from God's covenant. In 722 BC, the northern kingdom falls to the Assyrian Empire. The 10 tribes are scattered, fulfilling prophetic warnings. The Assyrians employ their policy of mass deportation, resettling the Israelites in distant lands and replacing them with foreign peoples. The lost tribes vanish from history, but the Bible preserves their story and promises of restoration. The fall of Israel highlights the consequences of persistent disobedience and the fragility of human kingdoms. Yet, God's covenant remains unbroken, as prophets like Hosea and Amos speak of hope and restoration amidst judgment. The southern kingdom of Judah survives the fall of Israel, but falls into its own cycles of idolatry and rebellion. Prophets like Isaiah and Jeremiah warn of impending judgment. In 586 BC, Babylon conquers Judah, destroying Jerusalem and the temple. The tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi are exiled, but their identity endures. In Babylon, they preserve their traditions, laying the foundation for the return and rebuilding. The exile is a period of profound spiritual reflection, as the people grapple with their failures and seek God's promises of restoration. What would you do if you found yourself wrestling with an angel at the break of dawn? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you let go or hold on for a blessing like Jacob did? Let's see how many of you would be as bold. After 70 years of exile, the Persian king Cyrus issues a decree allowing the Jews to return to Jerusalem. The tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and remnants of Levi begin rebuilding their lives in the ruined city. Under leaders like Zerubbabel, Ezra, and Nehemiah, they reconstruct the temple and city walls. This period is marked by spiritual renewal, as the returned exiles rededicate themselves to the covenant. However, challenges arise: opposition from local enemies, internal conflicts, and the struggle to maintain faithfulness amidst discouragement. Prophets like Haggai and Zechariah inspire hope, reminding the people of God's promises of restoration and the future role of all tribes. The return marks not just a physical rebuilding, but a rekindling of spiritual identity, as the descendants of the tribes look forward to the fulfillment of messianic prophecies. During the rebuilding, prophets such as Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi bring messages of encouragement and accountability. Haggai emphasizes the importance of prioritizing the temple, urging the people to rebuild God's house rather than focusing solely on their homes. Zechariah's visions offer a glimpse into a future restoration where all 12 tribes will be united and the Messiah will reign. Malachi, the last Old Testament prophet, addresses spiritual complacency, reminding the people of their covenant obligations. These messages are both immediate and eschatological, pointing to a time when the tribes will be fully restored under divine rule. The prophetic voice sustains the community's hope and renews their sense of purpose as God's chosen people. By the time of Jesus, the remnants of the tribes have largely integrated into Judea and Galilee, with the focus on the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. However, the consciousness of all 12 tribes persists. Jesus' ministry fulfills the promises made to Israel, offering salvation not only to the Jews, but to the entire world. His disciples, representing a new spiritual Israel, echo the structure of the 12 tribes. The Apostle Paul, a Benjamite, speaks of God's unbroken covenant with Israel, assuring that the scattered tribes are not forgotten. James addresses his epistle to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, reflecting the enduring legacy and spiritual unity of the tribes. Over centuries, speculation about the 10 lost tribes of Israel has given rise to numerous theories. Some believe they migrated eastward, forming communities in Asia, such as the Pashtuns of Afghanistan or the Neem-Anash in India. Others trace them to Africa, citing groups like the Beta Israel of Ethiopia. Some even link the tribes to early European peoples, such as the Celts. While the historical evidence is sparse, these legends reflect a deep fascination with the tribe's fate. The Bible's prophecies suggest that the tribes, though scattered, remain part of God's redemptive plan, destined to reunite in the Messianic age. The prophets envision a time when God will gather the scattered tribes from the corners of the earth. Ezekiel's vision of the dry bones coming to life symbolizes Israel's restoration, with each bone representing a tribe. Isaiah speaks of God's hand reaching out to bring back his people from nations like Assyria, Egypt, and Cush. These prophecies reflect a divine promise that no tribe, no matter how lost, will be forgotten. The gathering is both physical and spiritual, uniting Israel under one king, the Messiah. The prophecies of Isaiah, Ezekiel, and others converge on a central promise: the Messiah will reunite the tribes and establish an eternal kingdom. This age is described as one of peace, where swords are beaten into plowshares and the lion lies with the lamb. The scattered tribes, from Judah to the lost remnants of Israel, will be gathered and restored to their ancestral lands. Under the Messiah, Israel will be a light to the nations, fulfilling its role as God's chosen people. The promises of restoration also extend to the world, signifying the universal scope of redemption. This age is not just about political unity, but spiritual renewal, where humanity is reconciled with God. The book of Revelation reveals a vision of the end times, where 12,000 from each tribe of Israel are sealed as servants of God. This symbolizes the enduring significance of the tribes in God's plan. The 144,000 represent both literal descendants and spiritual heirs who uphold the covenant. These figures are central to the apocalyptic narrative, signifying purity, devotion, and divine protection. The vision underscores the idea that the tribes are not forgotten but preserved for a divine purpose. Revelation reaffirms the unity of the tribes and their role in the ultimate fulfillment of God's promises. The 12 tribes symbolize humanity's diversity and unity under God. Their stories of triumph and failure reflect universal themes of faith, resilience, and redemption. In the New Testament, the tribes transcend physical lineage to represent all believers united in Christ. This spiritual legacy reminds us that God's promises are eternal and inclusive. The tribe's journey from their origins in Jacob's sons to their prophetic future encapsulates the broader narrative of God's relationship with His people. They serve as a testament to the enduring power of faith and the unbreakable covenant between God and humanity. Various communities around the world claim descent from the lost tribes of Israel. From the Beta Israel of Ethiopia to the Nemunash in India, these groups maintain unique traditions that echo ancient Israelite practices. While some claims are debated, they highlight the deep cultural and spiritual connections to the tribe's legacy. Modern archaeology and DNA studies have added complexity to the narrative, revealing shared heritage among scattered communities. These claims, whether historically verified or symbolic, illustrate the lasting impact of the tribes and the universal desire to connect with their story. The 12 tribes hold significance beyond Judaism, influencing Christianity and Islam. In Christianity, they symbolize spiritual unity, forming the foundation of the New Jerusalem in Revelation. In Islam, references to the tribes affirm shared Abrahamic heritage. Their universal appeal underscores their role as a bridge between faiths, reminding humanity of shared origins and the call to reconciliation. The tribes inspire believers to reflect on themes of faith, obedience, and the pursuit of divine promises. In recent decades, renewed interest in the tribes has sparked movements to trace genealogies and reclaim lost identities. Efforts like the Aliyah, Return to Israel, of scattered Jewish communities reflect this desire. Genetic research and cultural preservation projects play a role in reconnecting people with their heritage. These initiatives, while scientific and cultural, carry profound spiritual implications, affirming the enduring relevance of the 12 tribes. The connection between the tribes and the land remains central to their identity. The division of land among the tribes in Joshua's time symbolizes divine fulfillment. Today, the land of Israel is a focal point of faith, history, and geopolitics. For many, it is a tangible reminder of God's promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The tribe's connection to the land embodies themes of inheritance, responsibility, and divine purpose. The story of the 12 tribes offers timeless lessons on faith, unity, and resilience. Their journey reflects the human struggle to remain faithful amid trials. The tribes teach us the importance of diversity within unity, the need for accountability, and the enduring power of God's promises. Their story inspires believers to find strength in their spiritual heritage and to trust in God's unchanging faithfulness. As the world becomes increasingly interconnected, the tribe's story resonates as a call for unity amid diversity. Their scattering and restoration reflect humanity's broader journey toward reconciliation. The tribes remind us that no one is truly lost to God and that redemption is always possible. Modern communities and faith traditions keep their legacy alive, proving that their story is far from over. The story of the 12 tribes culminates in the ultimate fulfillment of God's covenant. In the New Jerusalem, described in Revelation, the tribes' names are inscribed on the city's gates, signifying their eternal legacy. This vision affirms that God's promises are everlasting and that the tribe's role in His plan continues into eternity. The tribes, once scattered and divided, are united forever under God's divine rule. This ending is not just about closure, but the realization of a promise that transcends time, a new beginning in God's eternal kingdom. This story isn't just history, it's a mirror reflecting the struggles and hopes we all share. If you found yourself inspired or learned something new today, hit that like button and share this video with someone who loves a good story. And don't forget to subscribe, there's so much more to uncover in the incredible tapestry of history and faith.